Hi everyone. Today we are going to explore a powerful and insightful piece titled Wonders of Science. So, this is a speech that was delivered by the famous and most popular scientist Albert Einstein. And this speech highlights not only the scientific advancements that shape our world, but also the deeper philosophical and ethical responsibilities that come with them. The speaker begins by appreciating the marvels of science that have transformed human life in unimaginable ways. But the emphasis is not merely on inventions, it's on the spirit of scientific inquiry, the divine curiosity and creative instinct that drives all innovation. So, the speech also makes an important point about how we use science. It's not enough to enjoy technological convenience. We must also understand and respect the intellectual labor behind it. And finally, the introduction stresses how science and engineering have made knowledge accessible to all, democratizing ideas that were once limited to the privileged few. Which means scientific ideas are always considered as something that is of higher standard and very tough to understand for the middle class or the people with lower IQ. But through this essay, Einstein is democratizing such ideas and he is ensuring that the ideas are reaching all the people. It's not only limited to the privileged ones. Let's now look at the overall message of the speech. First of all, the speaker talks about the true origins of science, not utility or necessity, but divine curiosity and human imagination. Science begins with a question, a playful wonder about the world. It is always not needed. Then he takes us through the contributions of the key inventors, people like Ørsted, Bell, Hertz, and others, who changed human communication forever. These pioneers didn't just invent tools, they laid the groundwork for global connection. The speech also emphasizes the vital role of engineers who are not only inventing but also simplifying and mass producing tools for the common people. So, engineers are simply not inventing things, they're actually making it accessible for all the people. It is kind of marketing. They help bring democracy into the realm of knowledge and communication. So, Einstein says that engineers are people who are bringing in democracy into the realm of knowledge and communication, where knowledge, scientific advancements, scientific theories, communication, everything was considered as the realm of the privileged ones. But here, engineers are helping it to come into the realm of even the lower privileged ones, and they are ensuring that it is democratized. Another important idea is the responsibility of technology users. If we use scientific tools without understanding or appreciation, we are no better than animals who consume without comprehension. So, this powerful metaphor challenges us to be aware, to be thoughtful, and ethical, to be the ethical users of the science rather than just taking in whatever the others are saying. We have to be aware, we have to be thoughtful, we have to become the ethical users of science. So, Finally, the speech celebrates radio as a medium for peace, a way of nations to hear each other directly rather than through the distorted news, because always news cannot be the same things, and the newses may be manipulated. The way they said will be manipulated, the truths will be molded according to the political interest or the social interest of the person who is writing the news or the person who is owning the news. So finally, he's saying that radio is a medium for peace because it conveys the information directly. So this is a beautiful vision of technology used not just for utility but for building global harmony. And there are major scientific concepts. The speaker gives credit to several pioneers whose discoveries have made our modern communication systems possible. So let's understand who these people were and what are the things or what were the things they did. So first of all, we have Hans Christian Ørsted, and he discovered that electric currents produce magnetic fields. There are different kinds of electric currents, no? AC, DC, and there the electric currents will be producing magnetic fields. This was the beginning of electromagnetism, a concept called electromagnetism. And this fundamental concept is used in the motors, in the working of motor, generator, transformers, etc. So Christian Ørsted is the one who discovered electromagnetism. Then there comes Philip Reis. So Philip Reis is a person who used this electromagnetism to generate and transmit the sound, an early step towards the telephone. Like Ørsted said that when there is a flow of electric current, it will produce magnetic field. It is known as electromagnetism. And this electromagnetism is used to generate and transmit sound, which is done by Philip Reis. And then there comes Alexander Graham Bell. All of you must be familiar with the name. So Alexander Graham Bell, he invented the microphone, which converts sound waves. When we are speaking, our sound is traveling as waves. So which converts the sound waves into variable electric currents. And that's how your voice travels over phone lines. When you're talking to someone else, this is how your voice is traveling. Then comes James Clerk Maxwell. So he was a theoretical physicist, and he has mathematically proved the existence of electromagnetic waves. And electromagnetic waves are the basis for radio, TV, wireless communication, etc. Then he talks about Heinrich Hertz. So Heinrich Hertz is a person then experimentally confirmed Maxwell's theory that electromagnetic waves are existing, and it is mathematically proved, and this theory was experimentally confirmed by Heinrich Hertz by generating and detecting electromagnetic waves. Then we have Leibniz. So Leibniz, though lesser known, he invented the electric valve tube. So it was a critical device for amplifying the electrical signals and enabling efficient radio communication. So when you want to hear a radio, all these theories are applied over there. So all these people, each of these people contributed a key piece of the puzzle. And without their work, we wouldn't have modern communication technology. Now, let's talk about the role of engineers. So this speech gives them the respect they truly deserve. Engineers don't just build machines. They bring science to life. They take complex inventions and translate them into something accessible, user-friendly tools for ordinary people, for people like us. This is how a bulky early computer, which was almost of the size of a room, has turned into a smartphone. which all of you are using nowadays. That's engineering. They're taking up some complex inventions, they're making it user friendly. They also play a key role in making art, music, literature, science accessible to a wider public. Let's take an example of your phone. So, in the past, for the past 10 to 15 years, everyone did not have the access to touch phones, Android phones or the iPhones. And nowadays, everyone will be holding a phone. And how this became possible? It is because of engineers who took that complex invention and it made accessible. And similarly, the social media. So, thanks to television, radio, and now the internet, a poor child in a remote village can even listen to the Beethoven's music or attend a science class from MIT. Even you are sitting in your house looking at the phone, watching reels of a person who is in Africa, who is in Antarctica. You are exchanging cultures, you are learning about cultures, you are learning about so many things. There are so many online courses possible. You are learning things by just sitting in your home using just a mobile phone. So all these things have a hand of engineer. So these engineers have a key role in making the world lively. Engineering, therefore, is not just about machines. It is not just about machines. It's a social force. That's what even Einstein was also saying. It's a social force. It's a tool for democratizing knowledge. Democracy. Of the people, by the people, for the people. It is democracy. So, democracy must be evident in everything. And that's what engineers are doing. It's a social force. The engineer becomes the enabler of both intellectual and cultural progress, because by sitting at our home, or just a person who hasn't even traveled out of his town can gain knowledge about the places he hasn't even traveled or visited or even heard about. So engineers become the enablers of both intellectual and cultural progress. Now we have some poetic devices that's been used in the speech. Even though this is a scientific speech, it's rich in poetic language. That's what you have to note, the structure, the way he's framing each and every word and sentence. So let's explore some of the literary techniques that's been used here. First of all, we have metaphor. The most striking is divine curiosity. That's a phrase that elevates curiosity to something almost spiritual. Okay, and there is another metaphor that is comparing people who use science mindlessly to a cow chewing plants without knowing botany. They are saying that most of the people nowadays are using technology like a cow who is chewing the plants without knowing the botany. They are not concerned about the work. They are concerned about the people behind it. They are not concerned about the technology behind it. They are just using it. They are ignorant. That's the point it is conveying. So it is a metaphor. And it's a humorously yet sharp critique of passive consumption. So the metaphor of a cow chewing plants without knowing botany is a powerful critique of passive consumption by the people. Even now it is happening. Then comes personification. So engineers are described as those who wake people from their sleepy bluntness. So as if people were in a trance and the engineers bring awareness and clarity. The people are actually not in trance. They are aware. They are not sleeping. They are awakened. But they are not at all concerned about their surroundings. They are not at all concerned about anything else. So here he's using personification, and then we can see alliteration. Phrases like play instinct of the working and thinking researcher, it creates a rhythmic tone, or it creates a rhythmic effect that adds beauty and emphasis to the message. So these poetic elements not only make the speech memorable but also help to convey deeper meanings. Here the speech crosses into philosophical space. It presents science as a spiritual journey. The speech presents science as a spiritual journey. Actually, these kinds of questions are continuously asked from this chapter. That's why we are focusing on these kinds of points: literally, poetic devices, metaphor, and science and spirituality and all. So it's not just equations and machines. Science is a path of enlightenment. It is a way to connect with the truth and expand human potential. So science will be our path. Science is a guiding force which is leading us to the ultimate truth and which will expand our potential. That's what he's saying. The idea of divine curiosity and constructive fantasy, it blends science with imagination, almost like poetry or art. Engineers are not just technical workers, they are likened to visionaries or spiritual leaders. They are awakening humanity from ignorance. That's what he was saying. We have already stated this in the previous slide. He considers engineers not as just technological or the technical workers. He's considering them as visionaries, and they are spiritual leaders who are waking up the people who are sleeping. The common people are sleeping, they are in a slumberness, and these engineers are waking them up. These engineers are propagating, these engineers are democratizing knowledge, these engineers are propagating cultural exchange. So everything is attributed to the engineers. This fusion of science and spirituality is important. It reminds us that science must be guided by values and ethics. It's not just functionality. Without this balance, science can be misused. So science must be guided by values and ethics. Otherwise, everything is being misused nowadays. So science, which ultimate aim is to develop or progress the humanity, might be misused. Although the speech was written decades ago, it was written a long years ago, its ideas are even more relevant today. First of all, we live in a time of AI, like artificial intelligence, automation, genetic engineering, quantum computing, etc. These tools are powerful but also raise ethical questions. Just like the speech wants, we must use them with understanding, not blindly. Like we have AI, or artificial intelligence is being used in each and every field, including hospitality as well. Automation, genetic engineering, that has become a part of the world. But we have to use it. For sure, we have to use it because we are in a changing world. We have to adapt ourselves. But it shouldn't be followed blindly. We must have an understanding of what we are using and what we are doing. What is the use of it? Oh, do we have to literally use this? We must know. And we must also consider the ethical side as well. And we have scientists and engineers, and they have a broader role. They are not just inventors, they are also policy advisors, they are educators, and they are social influencers. The responsibility is to ensure that science benefit humanity, not just profit. So nowadays everyone is running behind the money. Yes, money is essential, profits are essential, but we have certain responsibility towards our society, towards our environment, towards other beings who are not human. So when you are a scientist, when you are an engineer, or when you are a person who is running behind the money or just profit, you have to ensure that your work, your decisions, or your dreams are benefiting the humanity. Along with gaining profit, they are benefiting the humanity. And the speech also discusses the democratizing role of technology, something we see in online education, open source platform, and global collaboration. So technology is democratizing everything. Everything is possible via online. You can gain knowledge online. How it is possible? Through this democratizing role of technology. And finally, the idea of media as a peace building tool. It is extremely timely. In an age of misinformation, radio and digital media must be used to foster understanding, not division. Like all these kinds of things. In the previous times, it was radio, then came TV. Nowadays, we are using social media. All these kinds of things must be used to increase understanding. It shouldn't become a tool of division. It shouldn't become a tool of derogating others. Okay, so he's focusing on these things. To conclude, the speech Wonders of Science is a more than a celebration of scientific inventions. Actually, it is a call to intellectual and ethical responsibility. It is not only celebrating the scientific invention, it is invoking the basic idea of intellectual and ethical responsibility of those who consider themselves as intellectuals, or those who are in the privileged way. It reminds us that behind every device or every discovery, there is a chain of curiosity, effort, and imagination. Curiosity is the mother of inventions. And while we enjoy these benefits of science, even when we are using a mobile phone or a smartwatch, a laptop, even a vehicle, we must also understand its depth. If we are using an AI, we must know what is the use. Do I really need that? Or can I do it by myself? Or is it affecting someone else's personal space or humanity? So we must also understand its depth, the honor, its spirit, and use it for the good of all humanity. Science is not just about what we can do, it's about what we should do. And that's the message we must carry forward from this speech. So I hope the speech and its ultimate idea is clear for you, because most of the questions that's been asked from this chapter belongs to this kinds of category. Like it comes under analysis, exploration, evaluation, and creation. Okay, so that's all for today, and thank you so much.